lunch. Hopefully, I'll energize you guys up before your next coffee. My name is Quinn Button. I'll be talking to you guys about how to spot opportunities early and build what's next before it's a trend. Hopefully, by the end of this, I will be teaching you how to see what's coming before it's obvious and how to turn those insights into real opportunities, and why your lifestyle as a digital nomad is actually a huge advantage to being able to do this. So a little bit about me. I'm Quinn. I have a PhD in consumer behavior. I got it at Oklahoma State University. My research really focused on how to make innovation designs and innovation be faster adopted through mainstream. So I was looking at eye tracking. I was using eye tracking technology as my methodology, and was looking at all these different crazy designs, from websites to e-commerce to electric vehicles. My dissertation was all about electric vehicles and their design, so if you're interested in learning more about that, connect with me on LinkedIn or after this. Be happy to show you that. I have had the great opportunity of being an executive for many companies in various different emerging technology industries. I am also currently an investor and an advisor. This has allowed me to really be able to travel all over the world, work with really big companies, enterprises, small companies as well, startup founders. I'll get into a little bit more of what I've been doing with some case studies. New York was a very big place. I got to ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange, which was fun. Got to do a TED Talk with my husband as well. It's been a really amazing 5 years or so since I graduated with my PhD. But the thing I'm most proud of is I am a digital nomad. I have been for the last 3.5 years, and I'm also the co-founder of a thing called Life Out of the Box with my husband. We have had the most amazing time over the last 3 years traveling the world. We are truly nomadic. We do not have a home base. We actually used to have a storage unit in Florida, and we completely got rid of it just a few months ago. So we really don't have a home base, and it's been the most amazing experiment of qualitative research and ethnography. And I'm really excited to share with you guys why that is so important as digital nomads. So starting off, one of the things that I really want to dig into is the signals that you guys will hopefully be picking up in the next few days, over the next few weeks. If you're here in Chiang Mai at the various different side events, what are we looking for? We're looking for a small moment that most people miss, one repeated behavior. This is called a signal. A signal is an early behavioral change, and this is where it all starts. A trend is when a lot of these signals stack up together. Right? And the one thing I want to make sure by the end of this you guys understand is to differentiate hype from the trend, because it's sometimes really difficult to differentiate between signal, trends, and hypes. So before I did my PhD, before I did anything like that, before I was into consumer behavior, here's my first example. We're going to take you back to 2012, you guys. 2012 was a very interesting time. These were the signals that I was picking up on with my husband. When I first met him, we fell in love in Las Vegas, very romantic. And we were starting to understand all of these things were happening around us. We were millennials. We had just gotten into the job force. There was this thing called the quarter-life crisis. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but around 25, people were really dissatisfied with their jobs in the job market. This was after 2008 crash. There was a real need to just see the world. Freedom was prioritized over career. That was crazy. Baby boomers did not understand it, right? Desire for connection. There was a lot of connections being made online. Social media was prolific, but we really wanted those real connections. So how do we convert online connections to real connections? And then finally, as more people were online and social awareness was more proselytized around the world, we really wanted to see impact, and that was a huge value we wanted to see in companies. So each of these things, these signals, I didn't know they were called signals at the time, each of these things together were not a trend, but could they together become a trend in the near future? Could I create a business with my dear husband, my boyfriend at the time? Could we actually create something that's sustainable, that really speaks to all of these things that we're seeing? So in 2012, we quit our jobs, sold all our stuff, and said goodbye. Our family thought we were crazy, and we bought a one-way ticket to Nicaragua to create a company called Life Out of the Box. And it took about a year or so to really be boots on the ground, research, understand what the needs were, what the opportunities were. Eventually, we would go on to work with artisans in Central America, throughout Nicaragua, Guatemala, Mexico, eventually Northern Africa as well. We made bracelets and different travel accessories. We wanted to make sure that it was a sustainable business that could give back. So for every single product that we sold, a set of school supplies was donated on their behalf, kind of like the Tom Shoes model, if you guys remember that, buy a product, give a product. But we wanted to take it a step further. We wanted it to be super transparent. We wanted people to actually be able to go and see their impact and connect online with the impact that they made through their purchase. So every single product had its own number on it, and the customer could actually type in that number on our website and see who received school supplies on their behalf. That was very difficult to scale, but we did it. We ended up doing a lot of really interesting things. This would lead us to actually being able to get our PhD on a full scholarship, our master's, and be invited into an incubator where we would grow our team and scale. If you guys want to know how the story ends, come and talk to me afterwards. But I think that the biggest signal that we really latched onto, that really did become a trend, and it still is a trend, is building connection. And that number on that bracelet, on that product, was really about building connection. That every time you looked at that bracelet, you remember and you saw the kid who received school supplies on your behalf. So, we were nomads. Why were we picking up on these signals, right? Why do you guys have an edge? You guys are picking up early signals because you guys have needs earlier than most people in the mass market. You guys face friction earlier, right? So therefore, you guys want to fix it, okay? Think about payments, visas, work tools, identity, belonging. You go into a brand new country, you don't know anyone, you're trying to figure out who you are, you're trying to figure out where you belong. These are really, really difficult things to get through, but they can be your advantage as well. When you feel friction earlier, you innovate earlier. You guys are lead users. You guys are the ones who not only spot the signals earlier, but you innovate, you fix them. And that's really, really important. If you think about it, it makes sense, right? You're staying in your same environment over and over again, your brain goes into efficiency mode, right? It's really filtering out for novelty. It's great for comfort, horrible for innovation, right? Really bad. But every time you enter a new city, a new social context, or a new culture, your brain rewires. It becomes more alert, you see patterns, you see new things, you are gathering information. This is called neuroplasticity, one of my favorite things. It is really good for your brain. You guys, neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to actually rewire itself based on experience. When you enter a new environment, your brain increases attention, pattern recognition, and learning. This is hugely, hugely powerful. Why do you guys see things first? Because you're in a new environment, your attention is higher, you therefore can recognize patterns much faster. This isn't just a lifestyle advantage that you have chosen, my friends. This is a brain advantage. Like, you are really helping your brain work to the fullest extent. If you think about it, breaking it down, novelty forces awareness, contrast sharpens your perception, uncertainty increases your learning, and your brain is constantly searching for meaning. Constantly. And I love being in a room with all of you guys because you're so creative, and there's a real advantage to that. Here's the Nomad Stack just to summarize it. You guys are in cross-cultural contrasts all the time, right? Whether you're in Bangkok, you're in Chiang Mai, you're in Da Nang, you're in Portugal, wherever the heck you are. Contrast helps patterns stand out. Constraint pressure. Constraints force creativity. So to innovate, you have to get creative, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. What are those workarounds that maybe are the opportunities that you are seeking out that you can actually fulfill? And then dense social networks. I have had the opportunity of being able to talk with some of you guys, learning about the various different co-living opportunities, co-working spaces. You guys, this is the hotbed for where ideas spread, right? You guys you have access to each other. If you want to go work at a co-working space or a co-living space, this is how to accelerate your idea. You don't need to predict the future. You don't need an AI oracle. You just need to start noticing it, right? So, what's the difference between signal, trend, and hype? Remember, signal is all about a change in behavior, early adoption and behavior. A trend is a bunch of signals stacking, and if a trend extends long enough, then it goes mainstream, right? And that's really where the opportunity is. That's where you can actually scale and grow. Hype kind of sits above all of that. Hype is attention without behavioral change, and it's really hard to figure out how to try to figure out how to discern from hype and signal in a lot of cases. And I'm going to give you a case study that I'm sure you guys will be all familiar with. Gartner's hype cycle, maybe you're familiar with this as well. Seen this time and time again. A new innovation happens, technology trigger. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is going to fix everything. It's going to change the world. Peak of inflated expectations. Oh my God, everyone's going to be so wealthy after this. Oh no, the trough of disillusionment. This is where a lot of innovation in tech goes to die and never actually comes back alive. But if it actually has legs to it, Then it can go into the fourth-stage slope of enlightenment. This is what we've seen with AI, where it actually becomes consumer-facing. And then now, all of a sudden, you're in the plateau of productivity. It is no longer an emerging market. You are now in a mature market and able to scale and grow. So why do most ideas fail? Well, they either build it because it's too late, or it's built for no one. That's why signal spotting is super important. It saves time, money, and energy. They don't fail because of bad execution. Usually it's because they're just built without any true demand. Now, show of hands, how many of you guys have ever owned an NFT? Yeah? Don't be shy. I know, we all did it. Come on, it's okay. We're all embarrassed about it, right? Yes, well, think of me. I was the VP of Growth for NFT NYC. It was the largest NFT event that has ever existed in the entire world. We went from November 2021 of 5,000 ticketed attendees to, in June of 2022, 22,000 ticketed attendees. It was insane. We took over all of Times Square, the Marriott Marquis. We took over Radio City Music Hall, every theater around that area. I mean, this is when Facebook turned into Meta. We thought we were all going to be working from the metaverse, right? Like every single Fortune 500, 25 company was at that event. Whether they were in stealth mode or not, they were curious. They wanted to understand it. What the heck is going on? What are these JPEGs? What are these weird little JPEGs that people wanted to buy and were speculatively investing into, right? Well, I think I actually know. There are some signals within hype sometimes, and this is what I really want to use this case study for. They were looking for identity. They were looking for belonging. If you remember, NFT boom came after the pandemic, or came during the pandemic, when we were all locked away and we were looking for belonging and community. So the majority of these things on this slide are worth nothing. Maybe one of them is, right? I'll never forget actually talking to companies and standing on stage being like, I think 90% of everything that is speculatively invested into right now in the NFT space is all going to go to nothing. Gary Vee said 99%, he was right. Only one of these things is actually worth anything today. But from identity, people started to really understand, well, okay, if this is my identity, I want to participate with my community. Participation was everything. Participation, showing up, you guys showing up here shows that you guys are really willing to learn and invest into a brighter future together, learn how you guys can actually build opportunities and build business and become a better human. Participation was rewarded over and over again. The network that was created over those 3 years when I was working with these guys was absolutely insane. From participation to status was the one thing I didn't like about that, right? It was really interesting. But the thing that I did love was that brands started getting into this space. Like when I'm talking about signals, we're seeing like Live Nation, Ticketmaster, we're seeing everyone come into this space. LVMH. Some of the brands that I worked with over the 2 years that I was there for, PwC, Coach, and SAP, these are all enterprises. They were doing internal campaigns. They were doing internal tests. They wanted to understand, how does this technology work? Is it something that we can actually sell? Is it something we can scale? We did some really fun activations with PwC at their partner event where we gamified things. I mean, really, we didn't call these NFTs. It was behind the scenes. We really just wanted people to tap, play a game, get rewarded, and go, right? Coach did a really fun thing where they did a holiday campaign over 7 days. People could actually claim it for free, and if they actually got the NFT, they were able to claim a custom Coach handbag, a physical item, which was really cool, and everyone did who actually got that NFT. And then SAP Success Factors, they won a line of business award. They wanted to share this award with the people who actually allowed them to win it, right? Instead of one person having a trophy and collecting dust on a desk. They wanted to create this to be able to actually be a verifiable credential on LinkedIn, which is something that you can do on the blockchain. It's one of the very, very good things about a blockchain is you can verify one's provenance. But overall, I think the biggest signal amongst all this hype noise was that participation is better than consumption, right? For me, people were buying things left and right, but the things that stayed, the things that lasted were the ones that were participating. Communities grow when people actually do things together. They don't just watch and they're not passive, right? So how do communities actually form? The belonging engine is what I call this. First, you have identity, a shared identity. We are all nomads. We all have an identity. We really belong here, right? We're really happy to be here. We have a ritual. What do? We travel a lot. We travel all the time. What do you repeatedly do? What's the reward of that? Well, we have freedom, we have autonomy, we have a lifestyle that we actually curated, designed, and yeah, maybe people in our life think we're weird, but it works for us, right? And then eventually reputation, people see it and they say, how did you do it? How did you actually create a life that you love living? I want to do that too, right? So this is how communities actually form. And what I really want you guys to take away is, what does a real signal look like? Because you guys are going to be seeing this a lot. You guys have probably already seen signals and didn't really know that they were actually signals, right? And over the next week, I want you guys to really think about, what are some repeated workarounds? This is one thing. When people invent their own solutions because nothing else fits their needs yet. How many people have gone to an event, a very large event with a bunch of side events, and there's one random Google Sheet being passed around with all the side events on to be able to register? And who created that? Someone unofficially did. Why? Why is that happening, right? Something happened with the main event organizers. This happened at NFT NYC. There were like there's like 250 side events. We had nothing to do with them. They all popped up randomly. But if there's a repeated workaround that you keep on seeing over and over again that's not quite right, that's a signal, right? What are some emotional spikes? Emotion equals energy, right? Energy signals are unmet or newly met needs. This is a really important one. Strong frustration, delight, pride, or relief. I was so delighted when I landed in Bangkok airport and I was going to go onto the airport tram. And instead of having to wait in line for my ticket to pay with cash, there was a designated line for Visa, for credit card, and I could just tap right in and go onto the tram. That was new. That was a delight. I loved that. Identity language, listen for phrases like, I'm the kind of person who, people like us, this feels very me, this is belonging forming. I'm sure you guys have actually heard this in conversations that you've had. I had a wonderful conversation with my new friend, Sheena, where we were really talking about that. We were like, oh, I'm the kind of person who does this. I'm a female entrepreneur who wants to do this or this, and it's a little bit different. That's belonging forming. That's really, really powerful stuff. Friction at the edges. This is one of the things that I think the biggest opportunities are at. Systems almost work, but not quite. Right? Think visas, payments, collaboration, trust, community, coordination. I have talked to so many people who are like, well, how did you figure out how to get a PO box with your LLC in Florida, right? Man, it took us 16 hours to figure out that research. We went through so many different ways. I'm sure you guys spent a lot of time on that too. Why are we all spending the same amount of time on the same exact thing? These are frictions on the edges. And then finally, behavior before explanation. This is not about conversation, this is about people watching. This is about sitting down, observing in an airport when people do something before they can articulate why, because people do things before they actually change their language, right? And so sitting down in a room, sitting down and understanding what questions are being asked, or just, I love people watching, right? Just understanding how people are being frustrated with their payment processing. This is behavior before explanation. So real quick, I just want you guys to think, as I conclude in the next few slides, what did you notice twice? Think about the last 7 days, right? And think about the future 7 days. What is something you noticed twice in 2 different places that surprised you? If you came from Bangkok, what did you see in Bangkok that maybe you saw also here in Chiang Mai? Yes, it's in the same country, but they're 2 distinct locations with different demographics, different people here. Think about it, okay? Now, that you understand what a signal is and what you're looking for. Now, how do you turn that signal into opportunity? That's what it's all about, guys. I really want it to not just be, oh, I'm looking at signals. I want you guys to really take all the things that you guys are already observing and actually turn it into opportunity for yourself. So the signal to build loop. Step 1 and 2, you scan and score. You scan for signals and you score them, right? It's pretty easy. Scan for signals. What is the frequency of these signals? How often are they coming up? How intense are they? Is there like a lot of frustration? Are people getting really pissed off at the payment processor when they're checking out of a coffee shop? What's the context shift? What's the difference between Bangkok versus Chiang Mai? Is there something that you saw in Bangkok that really worked that you haven't seen in Chiang Mai? Is that something that you can bring over here? And what are the workarounds that you keep on seeing? Why are people leaving every 90 days instead of doing the DTV visa, right, here in Thailand? What's up with that? Why are people leaving in the burning season of Chiang Mai and flocking over to Da Nang? What's going on over there? And what does that mean, right? Scoring them is really, really where it's important, though. Does it repeat? Does it matter? Does it cross contexts? Where can you scan these? You can scan it in conversations. At the pool party, let's go have some conversations and let's see what you guys can pick up, right? Frustrations, workarounds. Now, here's the big next step. Once you start scanning and scoring these signals, then it's about turning these signals into problems, because it's only when you turn these into problems that you can find the solution, right? So for example, people like X and context Y struggle with Z. So digital nomads in Chiang Mai struggle with blank, right? That's about it. And then, of course, once you kind of find that out, then it's about testing. I am all about testing, you guys. Whether you are a researcher or you're a business person, you're a startup founder, you know that testing is absolutely imperative for anything to actually grow and scale and for you to not waste a whole bunch of money on it, right? So you can pop up a landing page, for example, start a minimal viable product, an MVP, and then start really trying to figure out what's your little micro community, right? Tests should take days, not months. We've had a lot of people yesterday talk about how to actually put these tests together and to really, really test your own hypothesis, right? You're not looking for pull with these tests. They're supposed to be quick, and you're not looking for praise. When I'm talking about pull, it's like, oh gosh, this is exactly what I need to use this now, right? It's not like, oh, that was amazing, I really like it. Like, you don't want those people. You want pull. You want people to actually start using what you're talking about. And then scale or kill, right? Small first always. Think about a test size of about 20 people over the course of 2 weeks, and then understand, is there a clear signal here? Is there something actually here? 20 people over 2 weeks, you should probably get some good feedback if you are actually hitting the right niche and the right demographic. But scale only when behavior proves demand. Killing ideas early is success, it's not failure. And I think that that's one thing that we struggle a lot with is, oh, I have a great idea. I thought this signal was really hitting. I thought this opportunity was really gonna be the next big thing. If it doesn't, prove it out in the test, kill it. Kill your babies, right? Now, why does this matter now, you guys? Like, why am I even talking about this, and why does this matter now? Well, you guys know about AI. I love AI. I use AI every day, and I'm sure you guys too. But AI is going to make building so cheap. So cheap. You want to build an app? AI can do it for you. It's already happening, right? It's already happening. So human insight becomes more scarce. When people are using AI to build apps and to build applications fast and test them out, human insight is the number one thing that is your advantage. Basically what I'm saying is AI lowers the cost of creation, right? So the real advantage is you guys being able to understand people. It's qualitative. And it's crazy because when I was in my PhD research, it was all about quantitative. But there was something pulling me towards the qualitative. And there's something about the mixing of the qualitative and the quantitative that actually makes for the best insights in the entire world. So understanding people, understanding yourself, understanding the context of things, AI doesn't know that yet. Not yet. So take it as an advantage while you still can. So, a few takeaways. I hope you guys do this. 3 things to do this week. A signal journal. I know it sounds corny, guys. Just pull your notes app or something like that and just write some stuff down, maybe at the pool party or at the various different side events that you go to. What are the signals that you guys are actually picking up on? They could be observations, they could be things in conversations, whatever it is that you guys actually pick up that you feel. Then you want you guys to score them, right? Score your signals before you build anything. Is this actually worth pursuing a test? You don't want to do a bunch of tests on signals that actually don't mean anything, right? And then if you do find one signal, I would strongly recommend that you guys run a test over one signal that you really think would be huge, right? If you already have a business, how can this signal actually help improve your own business? If you're in an exploratory phase and you're looking for what your next business is going to be, this is even more important than anything else. A big takeaway, you guys, you already live in the future. You already see the future. You are innovating the future, okay? This is how you listen to it, all right? The future is right here in front of you. Like, I'm looking at it right here, okay? This is how you listen to it, and I hope you guys do turn your little antennas on, and it helps you out in a big way. Thank you so much. Would love to connect. This is my link tree.